Commissioner Grunsky.
Present.
Commissioner Midgley is absent. Commissioner Roostaller.
Here.
Commissioner Milas.
Here.
Commissioner Senga.
Here.
Okay, that completes roll call. Okay, any action on requests for continuances or withdrawals?
There are no changes to tonight's agenda.
Okay. At this time, the public is welcome to address the Planning Commission on items of interest to the public that are not listed on the agenda. Does anyone want to ask and speak about an item that is not on the agenda? Okay, no one online, I assume.
We have some participants online. Is there anyone on Microsoft Teams who would like to speak on items not on the agenda? Please speak now.
Okay, moving on to our action items. The consent agenda, item number 1. Items calendared for consent will be approved in one motion without a public hearing unless a member of the Planning Commission or the audience requests that the item be removed. Consent item number 1, Housing Element Annual Progress Report. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Commissioner Milas,
Yes.
Commissioner Senga,
Yes.
Commissioner Midgley is absent. Commissioner Rustaller,
Yes.
Commissioner Grunsky.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Moving on to second action item, use permit number PA 220049. We have a presentation from staff.
Thank you, Chair. We have Associate Planner Elisa Goulart, who will be giving a brief presentation.
Checking to see if the mic, there we go. This project is a use permit to establish a religious assembly for a maximum of 49 people. The conversion of an existing residence and attached garage totaling approximately 2,800 square feet. Project site is located on the west side of South San Jose Road, 625 feet south of West Middle Road in Tracy. Project site has a general plan designation of general agriculture and is zoned general agriculture with a 40-acre minimum. Project parcel is 5¼ acres in size. As you can see in the aerial, the project site is in an area with smaller lots that contain residences, but the surrounding area is made up of large agricultural parcels that are used in crop production. This use permit was submitted in response to an enforcement case opened in March 2022 after it was confirmed that building alterations had been made to convert the residence to a religious assembly without the benefit of land use or building permits. The responsible party was notified that a land use permit was first required, and the applicant submitted the current use permit. The project referral was mailed in July 2022. In August, CDD received 2 letters stating that the religious assembly was operating. The project was then put on hold until the Code Enforcement Department confirmed in September 2022 that the facility was no longer operating. CDD then continued with the processing of the use permit. If this land use permit is approved, the applicant will be required to obtain building permits for work already performed and for any future work, as well as for changing the occupancy of the residence to the assembly use. Conversion of the residence and garage will result in 2 prayer halls, one 840 square feet in size, the other containing 555 square feet. Remaining space will provide an office, restrooms, and storage. A 268 square foot addition is also proposed to add accessible restrooms. Other structures on the property will be utilized for storage for the facility. A parking lot is proposed for the southeast corner of the project parcel. A residence is located 70 feet from the property line on that adjacent parcel, so screening of the parking lot will be required, and that is included in the recommended conditions of approval. The proposed screening is a solid screen of dense vegetation. The facility is proposed to be open for prayer 7 days a week with 2 shifts daily, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, for a total of 5.5 hours a day. The project was determined to be exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act requirements because it was determined to be consistent with the Class 3 categorical exemption for projects described as the conversion of existing small structures from one use to another where only minor modifications are made. Proposed religious assembly will be converted from an existing residence with a minor addition and with grading for parking and driveways, which corresponds with the described exemption. Received 4 letters in support of the project, and tonight an additional 6 letters in support, which were just distributed, and 6 letters opposing the project, including those that were received after publication of the staff report that are in tonight's notes for this evening. The letters supporting the project express the need for the prayer hall to satisfy the growing population of Tracy and emphasize the importance of the prayer hall in the Hindu religion. The letters in opposition to the project cite the following summarized concerns. Topic 1 are code violations. There are multiple statements that the project should not be approved due to violations. As discussed previously, this application resulted from an enforcement case. CDD's approach to enforcement cases is to assist applicants in gaining compliance with the county's regulations whenever possible, and the responsible parties have taken all of the necessary steps to correct the enforcement action. Topic 2 is zoning. There are multiple statements that the religious assembly use type is not allowed in the agricultural zone. However, county regulations permit the religious assembly use in all agricultural and residential zones, as well as in 5 commercial zones. All zones where this use is permitted require an approved land use permit. Therefore, submittal of the subject project for a religious assembly is consistent with the allowable uses in the general agricultural zone. Topic 3, traffic and parking. There are statements about increased traffic and street parking. The assembly is for a maximum of 49 people. This relatively low number does not meet the threshold for requiring a traffic study. As for parking, there is a recommended condition of approval requiring that all parking be contained on site. Additionally, the site plan submitted for the project depicts the minimum required number of parking spaces. And topic 4 would be improvements. There are multiple statements about inadequate improvements. All required improvements are part of the recommended conditions of approval for the project. All improvements will be installed under permit by the responsible agency. This is the site plan submitted by the applicant. Here it depicts the proposed parking lot with the screening along the property line with the adjacent parcel. Here are the existing structures that will be converted to the religious assembly. This site over here is a close-up of the site plan. Over here, there's a depiction of the entire parcel. And in that, you can see that the current residence, which is going to be converted, is located approximately in the middle of the parcel, 200 feet from each side property line. I should have said in the middle between the 2 side property lines, because it's about 350 feet from the rear property line. This is an aerial view of the site depicting the residence and accessory structures. This photo was taken from San Jose Road looking towards the project site. The yellow structure visible is the residence. This photo was taken from the center of the project site looking south towards the neighboring property and the area for the proposed parking lot. In the background is the fence marking the property line and the neighboring residence, which is located approximately 7 feet south of the property line. Photo was taken from the project site looking north. Property line, the property fence can be seen in the background. It's not the closer fence that you see here. And you cannot see the residents on that neighboring parcel. This photo was taken from the project site looking west. Back of the property, you can see the fence on the rear property line. It is our recommendation that the Planning Commission adopt the findings for the use permit and approve use permit number PA 220049 with the recommended conditions of approval. Presentation.
Thank you. Questions for staff?
What's the speed limit?
The speed limit is 55 miles per hour.
Okay, at this time, we're going to hear from the applicant and proponents of the project. Please state your name and address.
My name is Manik Salveru, resident of Tracy. Living here since 2004.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Yeah, I moved here in good evening, staff and fellows. Yeah, good evening, sir. So my name is Manik Salveru, and good evening, everyone. Good evening, commissioners. Good evening, my staff. And the Planning Commission, they are very helpful in the process of applying this one. And I'd like to thank Lisa in the beginning. She went through me, because I learned a lot of steps I didn't know before. So I would like to thank CDD, Planning Department. Very helpful, and whenever I reached them, they provided a guidance which helped me to at least submit an application. So I've been learning everything step by step, and my team, the group, I'm with my fellow people with my non-profit organization for starting this temple. So the basically idea of starting this temple was started in I've been here for very long. Like 2004 onwards, for any prayer needs, I need to go to Livermore, or I need to go to Bay Area, where there are few temples which I can attend. So I commute to Bay Area. I work at Oracle Corporation. I'm a global product lead for a network product. So I commute every day, and weekends for prayer needs, I go back to Livermore or something, take my kids, attend a prayer, and come back to the city. So since then, I think we've been thinking of having a prayer hall or something similar to here in Tracy, but there was no such a support financially or the number of people that we are here. There were like very few. And as the time passed, and in 2015, I met our priest. His name is Venkatesh Chintapalli, and the priest, and he was working in Livermore. So through his interactions, I attended several of his personal rituals. So we started discussing, and we kind of had a plan for something to have a prayer hall in Tracy. So we've been looking since 2017 constantly, and the property values were going up, and we were not getting any place. And there were no designated like a prayer halls or churches that we could buy. And because of the constraints with the budget what we could collect as a donations. It was a little bit of a starting trouble. So it took us some time to figure out that. And basically that's where we kind of were looking into the properties, and we looked at the nearby where right now the property is. There are other properties around, and we were looking very close to the churches to see, because it may fit into the same prayer hall community kind of thing. And we saw one on the middle road, and we kind of missed several properties. And then we found this, and we thought this is an agricultural AG 40, and we consulted a architect at the time, and they said, I think we should be able to get a sample or a permit to start. So once we bought the property, and we actually went through the survey right away, and it took us like a couple of months, and then we had some decisions to make, and we did some events. We agree, we did some events. We gathered some people. We didn't know that requires a special permit. So that I came to know after when I started the application. Then I realized, yeah, there is a process that you need to get a special permit even for a smaller events. So we did kind of few events on that residency after acquiring in August. Yes, we did without knowing, and it took us almost 3, 6, 7 months to figure it out. And we submitted a plan in March 2022. And so as you are aware, so we are Hindu, see, we follow a very specific path of Hindu reciting, Vedic chanting. I just want to just give you a small glimpse of what the chanting looks like, if you allow me, just for 2 minutes. And my chant, a little small player. If you allow me, sure.
ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीद सादानम् सुमुखश्चैकदन्तश्च कपिलो गजकर्णकः लम्बोदरश्च विकटो विघ्नराजो विनायकः धूमकेतुर्गणाध्यक्षः फालचन्द्रो गजाननः अग्रतुण्डः शूर्पकर्णो हेरम्बस्कन्द पूर्वजः षोडशैतानि नामानि यः पठेत् शृणुयादपि विद्यारम्भे विवाहे च प्रवेशे निर्गमे तथा सङ्ग्रामे सर्वकार्येषु विघ्नस्तस्य न जायते अगजानन पद्मार्कम् गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तम् भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे शरणागत दीनार्तपरित्राणपरायणे सर्वस्यार्तिहरे देवि नारायणि नमोऽस्तु ते. Thanks.
So that's what the prayers generally. We'll have an idle place, so it can be done anywhere. So it doesn't require anything, a minimum flowers for the prayers. That's what we do. The chanting, listen to that, pray, meditate. That's the prayer hall we are planning for. So, yeah, the need, definitely we started a SVP in 2017, and we started collecting all the funds, gathered some funds, we worked on it, and we did some repairs for the house. The house was, if you can see the house, the elevation, I think. Yeah, this was I mean, if you can see the picture, the garage and the side door, there was a window. We actually changed that to a door, and the side door, the garage also, we put a wider door. This is just to have a place where we could sit for a hall. So that's a change we did, and you can see in the next picture, this is what we changed. Yeah, this is the one we changed. So no square foot change, everything remained same. And we did consult a builder, and the builder said, you're not expanding anything. You want to just replace this and then, go with the application and then come back. That's how we ended up doing it, and that's definitely what we got enforcement. Yeah, we know now, so we will work on it to fix that, get into compliance. And definitely, we would like to keep it not too much noise. I know this is a very scattered residences, very open field, and there are some concerns about neighbors raised, and we understand. We like to keep that quietness and everything. We are not building anything right now, any big structure. We are just converting the existing home into a prayer hall, and we will limit the number of people, 49, through an appointment system. So once if they come that day, that will come. If they cannot come that day, if we are exceeding by 40, then we go to the next day. So assuming 49, we'll take 2 for the priest, we'll take 2 more people for the volunteers. So we will limit at like 40 to 40, that's it, for a day. So that no traffic will be there. Because now we have all the online this thing, and this is also by appointment. So we will limit number of people, we'll keep that facility housing right now, so we will not exceed anything that really puts a burden on the property or on the neighborhood.
May I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
So you said 42. Is that 42 per prayer session? Because you're having 2 a day. Okay. Wanted to clarify that.
And definitely, we don't use any food items there. No alcohol, nothing is allowed in the prayer halls. Food, there could be fruits. Yes, that would be distributed. And
alcohol?
No alcohol, no smoking. This is going to be a simple prayer hall for meditation and maybe a little bit yoga. That's it.
Okay. Do you have more? We usually have a time limit.
There are any questions?
We'll write. Yeah. And we are working on several fronts. We reached out to our neighbors. Couple of them, they raised it. So we are working with them. We would like to help them. We would like to invite them to part of the board to make sure we don't create much of a nuisance for them or any noise, traffic, and we'll try to control everything. So yes, we started on a little wrong foot. We should have not done it, but we are trying to comply with all the laws.
Big events that we've been planning. So typically, every day looks like somebody asking for blessings for a birthday or anniversaries and stuff like that. Yes, we have religious occasions that requires big audience. We've learned to use the bigger facilities in the community. We are not going to do it here. We have been using the elementary schools, high schools in Tracy Mountain House area. So we're going to focus there for any big events and keep small day-to-day activities here.
Help me so the 42 that come per session, morning or night, do they come? They come back every day, or do you? How many?
Usually, our prayers happen on Monday, and Thursdays or Saturdays. These 3 days. The rest of the days, probably it is individual. 1 or 2 may come. It's like initially maybe you'll have some enthusiasm, but actually once it dies down, I think you will see not much.
New You're ready to answer
any questions you have.
Any questions, folks?
I would just like to state this on the record that I did visit the place a couple of weeks ago because I had a concern after we saw this on the agenda that it is coming to the agenda item. I live in Tracy, so obviously I haven't been to the temple particularly, but that particular day I did go in there and I checked everything. So the first thing that I realized is much cleaner than what it was a few months ago. I had seen it before you guys had acquired it and seen from the outside, never stepped on the inside of the property. That being said, there was a sign that says not in operation, so it was closed down. There was nothing going on there. I'm not a Hindu, but I understand the rituals and I understand the prayer and I understand the events. So they have been doing events, not at the place. They rent the elementary school and high school gymnasiums and all that. They have even approached me a couple of times because I have an event center, but it's way too big and I charge way too much. There is nothing that I don't understand, but I did have a concern and I did speak to their board members that why was there code violation? Why was the code enforcement there? They honestly did not realize because they bought this property. It's in 5 acres, a little over 5 acres, and the house is right in the middle. So they are not like touching anybody's, the house is not touching anybody closer. It's right in the middle of the 5-acre lot. Did walk around. Did see everything where the old structures were. The garage door was pretty bad. Saw the old pictures. Even the outside structure where the barn used to be is needing to be fixed or constructed or done some kind of construction. So they have stopped all that. So not that you did anybody a favor, but at least you learned a lesson. So I appreciate that. That being said, I did speak to them. There's a big need there because the population has shifted. 15, 20 years ago in Mountain House, we didn't have that population. Overall population has increased, and they represent or they come from a Telugu background. So this is a particular temple just for them. So it's not like I don't know if I should say this, but I will say this if it makes any difference. The Sikh temples are very different. We are huge. It's built in 40, 50, 60,000 square foot. We cover 50 to 60 to even 100 acres of land because it's heavily attended. Their events are, their prayers and their ceremonies are very limited, and that's why they went with that 40. Usually, pretty much people come with appointment just to take the gentleman who did the prayer, he's a priest. The young man standing there in the striped shirt, he's a priest. So it's a very limited and concise way of doing their prayers. It's not like, the Sikh temple is open 24/7 every day. They will not be open like that because that's not usually their custom. So it's different from what you might have seen because Stockton holds one of the biggest and one of the oldest Sikh temples where recently there was a big event and we do it with permits and all that. So I spoke to them, like I said on the record. I went there as a planning commissioner. I asked them questions and I felt that yes, they have made some mistakes unknowingly, innocently, but they don't get a free pass for that. So everything and anything that will be done is told that they cannot operate till everything is done, and they agreed to it, and the building has been off limits. People been calling me and asking that, why is the commission? I said, commission did not stop you guys. So they have the doors locked, so nobody can go in there till they get the proper permit. So I just wanted to put that on the record. And thank you for doing your paperwork, doing your homework, and realizing and owning up to what the mistakes were done, whether it was innocent or I hope to God it was not intentional because you guys didn't know what you were doing. So it was an honest mistake. But they've been working on it. And I did spend some time there. And I did go there one time without telling them that I was going there, just to make sure, not trying to be a spy. But yes, the place was locked up. There was nobody there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
You speak with. Can you just give us names of who you spoke with, or more particularly disclose who it was that you spoke with on your visits?
I spoke with the gentleman in the middle who's giving the presentation. I spoke to the priest, the young man standing on the my right side. Their names are pretty long, so I'm sorry. I have a small name, so like I said, it's there. I don't want to mispronounce it. And I spoke to the gentleman sitting in the light pinkish, whatever the color of the shirt is. But I don't remember anybody's name. I think the gentleman in the middle, his name is Mr. Manik. Yeah, lucky one. I remember your name. I took notes. I wrote the names, but I don't have those notes with me, but those are the people I spoke with.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. And we'll hear now from any other proponents of the project that would like to speak.
Hello.
Hi. Can I
Need to state my name or just go for it?
Yeah, state your name, please.
Yeah, my name is Raghu Pilutla, for the record, and I actually am not from Mountain House. The reason I'm here is I wanted to kind of give you a picture of what it looks like when you have a prayer hall in a community, right? So I am from the Bay Area, and I live near Sunnyvale. There's a similar prayer hall in Sunnyvale, right? And what I wanted to share there was that that prayer hall is very helpful and convenient for us because it's close to us, obviously. And then when we have celebrations that are, Hindu festivals or ceremonies and other celebrations, it helps us not only celebrate those festivals like with the community, with the Hindu community, but also it helps our kids to learn about our culture. So as you know, California and the Bay Area obviously is very diverse, and the diversity is celebrated not just by the individual communities, but also the other parts of that diversity is also, the people that are from different faiths and cultures also celebrate that. I mean, I celebrate, for example, my other colleagues at work that do, Latino events, or we celebrate, Thanksgiving, for example, right? So I think that mixture happens even within the context of this prayer hall is what I wanted to say, right? Now, the other thing I also want to say is our kids, when they come to these events, they obviously learn some of the religious things that we learn from the priests, but also they learn our culture. Even if the attire and the dressing of where we come from, it's really very nice for us to see that our kids can at least do that some of those days, right? So what I'm trying to say is when you have something like this in your community, it really not only helps the people that are practicing the Hindu faith, but also it enriches the overall community through the festivals and the events. So just wanted to mention that, and I wanted to wanted you to kind of think about it while you're making your decisions and those things. That. And I intend to fully support whatever they're planning to do here. So I know it's far from where I live, but I know some of the people here, and I'm always supportive of what they do, which is why I came all the way from the Bay Area to talk about it. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I would like to add my... Okay. Go ahead.
Saying something. Hi. Good evening. My name is Padma, resident of Mountain House since 5 years. I moved from the Bay Area during just pre-COVID due to raising rents and whatnot. So this is a very peaceful place. But the only thing I was missing is a place to pray. I used to actually go every week to Milpitas or maybe to Livermore, at least commute 20 miles, one way, or if not 50 miles, depends. Ever since I know this priest has moved in closer, it feels like home. Someone is there to offer prayers for us and, get blessings. So a prayer hall nearby home is what I always prefer, and especially in a very peaceful atmosphere, away from the city life, literally in the middle of a very peaceful place, I say, like around agriculture surroundings. You really get the real tranquility in that place. So I would favor to have a nice prayer hall nearby home, and I request the Planning Commission to consider it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Padma Garikapati. I am a resident of Mountain House since 2009. Respected members of the Planning Commission, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I am honored to be here today to advocate for the approval of a religious permit for the SVVP Hindu Prayer Hall in Mountain House Tracy community. The Hindu Prayer Hall holds immense cultural heritage and religious significance for thousands of Hindus in our community. It is not only a place of worship, but also a sacred space. Prayer hall nearby community where we live will reduce significant travel time while bringing members of our community come together to seek peace and solace. Furthermore, the presence of such provides moral and ethical guidance to the community. The values and principles taught here are integral to the development of responsible and ethical citizens. By granting the permit, you will be supporting the promotion of these values and principles. While prayer is an integral part of all religious traditions, one core concept of Hinduism is that the goal of life is enlightenment, which comes with complete release of the ego and control over the wandering mind. I would like to thank all of you for your time and consideration by chanting the word Shanti, meaning peace, towards the end 3 times. The number of repetitions is symbolic. The first is for the removal of disturbances that come from God, such as natural disasters. The second for disturbances that come from other people and things in the world. And the third for disturbances originating from our own or devotees' own mind. I urge you to consider the significance of Hindu prayer hall in our community and grant the permit. The SVVP Prayer Hall will serve as a vital space for the community's cultural, spiritual, and social development, and it is our responsibility to preserve and promote its presence for future generations. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening to the commissioners and all their supporting staff. I'm Kirtana. I'm resident of Mountain House. I'm an Hindu. I personally like to have a prayer hall in Mountain House because the place is divine. It gives me peace. And I'm a trained Montessori teacher in Mountain House. I want to teach my children all my religious practices. At the same time, not only teaching, I just want to role model with them. And I just want to explain about one ritual in our Hindu culture, that is Shraddham. It's a ritual one performs to pay homage to one's ancestors. It's a social responsibility of a son to perform the ritual in the prayer hall like SVVP is proposing. So my husband performs this ritual basically for his late parents. So to perform this ritual, he has to travel 50 plus miles to Bay Area on a weekday, which is really hectic and because of that bad traffic. And it's very time consuming on weekdays. So having such prayer hall would be really beneficial for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there. I'm a high school senior at Mountain House High School. Thank you for hosting the session. So I just wanted to convey the importance of a prayer hall, especially for me because I'm a student. My parents have always really accustomed me by these traditions. I have always been influenced by these traditions. My parents have always taught me to attend the temple, attend a prayer hall at least twice a week, once a week to, pray, attend peace and make sure that I'm learning my cultures and values. And through this prayer hall, I hope to, seek to learn more rituals, learn my core principles that are taught in our holy scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and the Ramayana. And I think that this prayer hall is very important to me simply because of the fact that it's close to me, right? As I said, my parents have kind of taught me the value of going to a prayer hall, and I'm a high school student, right? So I'm a bit busy. And the thing is, my prayer halls are kind of far from the city. So it might be in the Bay Area or it might be towards Stockton, right? And so with this tradition of going to the temple, I think having a prayer hall close to me is going to be very favorable and make sure that I'm able to stay accustomed to my religion and culture. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Arna and I'm in 6th grade. I moved to Tracy 2 years ago where I enjoyed the fact that the parks are nearby and all the facilities needed to survive too. I enjoy the parks because I'm an athlete who plays many sports, so that was one of the best parts about moving here. Though in Tracy I feel alone because when I see my relatives around me go to prayer halls and places to celebrate festivals, it makes me miss the homely vibe. Since we don't have a common platform to celebrate our Hindu festivals that's nearby, I think adding Indian prayer halls like these will promote a stronger tie of Hindu culture and heritage. This will also serve a great way for other Hindu kids like me to get the homely feeling.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Aishwarya and I'm in the 8th grade. My parents lived most of their life in India around Hindu culture, but for me, I was born here where it's more diverse. I like to stand out in this diversity with my Hindu religion. I want to learn more about my culture, not just by my parents, but by going to the prayer hall. In my religion, we have many festivals that we celebrate, but when I go to the prayer hall, I gain an understanding of why we celebrate these festivals. Also going to the prayer hall, Guru Garg teaches many Vedic mantras and slokas which I would like to learn. The prayer hall not only helps me learn about my culture, but it makes me feel connected with God. But without a prayer hall nearby, it would be hard for me to achieve my religious practices and goals. Also, if we don't have a prayer hall here, it would be tough for us as we would have to drive 1 hour to the Bay Area back and forth. Therefore, having Sri Vidya Veda Peetam prayer hall nearby would not only be convenient, but would additionally be helpful with me being able to practice my religion regularly and gaining knowledge of my religion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Sanvi and I am in 5th grade. And I think we should have a Hindu mandir in Mountain House because it is a very good way for people of all ages to obtain peace and affection towards God. Young children about my age can find themselves loving God and embracing Him or her. To add on, if we have a temple close by, young children at my age can perform religious arts like chanting the Bhagavad Gita. Chanting religious arts like the Bhagavad Gita can not only be good for the person who's chanting it, but it is also good for the people who listen to it, especially kids. The Bhagavad Gita is what Lord Krishna himself said to Arjuna in the great war between Kauravas and Pandavas. This is why, in my humble opinion, we should have a Hindu mandir close by.
Thank you. All your parents should be very proud of you, you young ladies. That's very excellent. All three of you. Fantastic.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Basavaraj Swami. I moved from Pleasanton to Mountain House 5 years ago with our two kids growing in middle school and high school. So when we moved here, it's away from the main city, and we are thinking how to go. We in India, when we were there, we used to visit our prayer hall, temple. Every street has a temple, prayer halls in our hometown. But we are missing that here, and that because we go, every traditions we go there, like birthday, anniversary, every good occasion, you are starting a new job, going to school, before doing and taking any projects. So we go to prayer hall and worship. So that is our tradition, but we are worried about what happened in Mountain House. Then we are excited when I saw there is a prayer hall in Mountain House. After 1 year, we used to suddenly stop, disappear. I see, no, it's closed now. So I was disappointed, and so I was looking for, we don't know what to do, and we are unable to go. Every occasion is very far from Mountain House. So the prayer hall is not just a prayer hall for us. It's just not a building. It has a lot of energy in it, like prayers, priest pray a lot of shlokas, mantras, and do a lot of noise, bell rings. So that vibrates a lot of energy in the building. So by going there and sitting there for 5 minutes, we get a lot of energy. So that is the purpose. When you do a construction and then we do a hall, a lot of technical behind it. I don't know much about it. So going up in India, we learned our traditions, spirit culture automatically. But our next generation, secondary, here, difficult for them to learn what they automatically learn in the environment here. It's very challenging here because most of the time they spend in school. Because as a parent, we have limited knowledge. Hinduism, very vast syllabus, Sanatana Dharma. We are unable to study because we are busy in our own life, technical life, busy. We are unable to pass on our culture to our next generation. So prayer hall is a place where we frequently go. Even every after school, within 30 minutes we go and come. then they even 5 minutes present, they will get a lot of energy and a lot of guru priest will be there. He will teach us what is coming, what is the eclipse is coming. Even eclipse has a lot of importance in Hinduism, like a solar eclipse. What is how to take care of ourselves. The priest has a lot of knowledge on the calendar. Look at it and gives us a knowledge. Oh, you have to do this day, this thing. So he will give us a guidance, and kids will automatically learn. They don't learn from the parents, but learn from the priest surrounding the families. And in India, there are different cultures of there, but now when you go to prayer hall, different state of the India, they come there. And we automatically learn culture from each one of us. But here in our own family, we can't learn from them. So society teaches our next generation. So that's the reason. I feel a lot of we are missing in the Mountain House. I appreciate and thank you for very much for considering our request and our community. On behalf of my Hindu community and my neighborhood, I'm requesting board to consider and give some approval for a prayer hall. It will be very nice, and thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to say my concerns and express my feelings. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Very good. Thank you.
Sir, may I speak from online?
Not yet. We're still addressing people in the audience. We will call on you shortly.
My
name is Jose Flores. I live in 2113 San Jose Road, neighbor. I want to say, I think we need more prayers around. The problems, guns, whatever the world is, very crazy. So I think they don't bother anybody just for pray. So I don't see any problem the causing traffic or so many people. So we are away from the city. We don't bother anybody. So it's away from the each neighbor is more than like far away, more than 300 feet. So I think I agree with them. They don't bother anybody. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Chair, if I may ask him a question? Sir. Jose, you said, sorry, I'm using your first name, but sir, are you the next door neighbor or how far do you live from them?
I'm the closest neighbor.
You're the closest neighbor?
This one.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, all right.
Muchas gracias.
Dear Planning Commission staff, ladies and gentlemen, dear brothers and sisters, good evening everyone. My name is Ram and I am moved to the Mountain House in 2019. Since then I am a resident of Mountain House. I moved basically from Bay Area, which is a Fremont. So when I live in Fremont, my apartment is very near to the temple. Whenever I really a temple, any festivals or any occasions like birthdays, anniversaries or my kids' birthdays, we used to go to the temple, get the blessings from the god and priest actually. That is, I used to have the custom actually, and I used to go to the temple every Monday and Thursday and Saturday. So because it's very near to me, then even though I go to the work to San Francisco, once I'm back from the work, I used to go to the temple and get the blessings, and I feel like it's very happy and very peaceful and very blessed and happy come back to home. So when I moved to the back in 2019 to Mountain House, so I am not aware of that any temple is there nearby, then I need to travel to Livermore or Ayurveda temple in Milpitas. So whenever I plan to travel those things, because once you get into the 580, it's not your control the traffic at all. Sometimes it will take 30 minutes, 40 minutes, sometimes it hours also. So my kid always whenever I say to go to the temple, then because of seeing the traffic and we don't know what time we'll be back to home, and next day you need to go to the school and we need to go to the work also. Always we feel really negotiating with them and postponing and compromising not to go to the temple also. So when I came to know that this place is available in Mountain House itself, the prayer hall, I felt so happy because we are not going to miss the prayers and whatever the celebrations also. It's going to help us to make them very happy and peace and happiness also and healthiness also.
And always this one is going to help not only me and my family, my kids and the new generations also, because when the things are very near, at least they will get a chance to go and visit and maintain their culture and custom to the next generations. And always we believe in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, which means that all the 7 continents people, wherever they are there, they need to be happy and healthy and peaceful. And we say, Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. All the people who are living in these continents also, irrespective of race, religion, caste, or gender, all these things, it's not really matter. All needs to be happy and healthy and peaceful. That is what our Dharma says. So whenever I go to the temple, my priest always teach these things. That is really going to help us to make a better community and better citizen and be happy and keep them also, your neighbors also always happy. That's why I'm sincerely requesting you all, requesting you and kindly consider this one to make this a place for us to get a prayers and to maintain our custom on our Sanatana Dharma while going forward also. I sincerely request you all and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Where I come from, there is a saying, "Koval illada uril kudi irukade," which translates to, if there is no prayer hall, please don't stay in that place, in that city. So that's how important it is to our belief and how we practice our beliefs. I came here 26 years ago as a student, and this was pre-social media era. So whenever I went back home, all my friends and relatives would ask me, how far is your school? How far is the nearest grocery store? And then how far is the prayer hall, right? And I was in Texas, and it was 2.5 hours of drive at the time. So that's how important it is to our culture and what we believe in. And also, there are certain things in our belief system that has to be done in the prayer hall. You cannot do it at home or any other place. There are certain days you have to go to the temple or the prayer hall, and you have to do certain things, certain rituals or certain prayers that can be done only there. So I think it's very important for a community to have a place where they can go and not only just practice their beliefs, but also to pass on to the next generation and to others in the community. And I can speak from my personal experience. Whenever I feel down, I've gone to a prayer hall, and they don't ask any questions. The priest just looks at you, and they know you're troubled. They will just say a small mantra, sloga, and they will tell you everything will be all right. God is there. Don't worry. And that really helps you to heal. And it is very important for the community to have such a space. So please do consider the request. Thank you for the opportunity. Good evening.
Thank you very much.
I have something to say as well.
We will address the online in a few minutes. We still have some speakers here.
Thank you.
Hello, Chairman. My name is Raj. It's a long name, but I would everybody calls me Raj. I've been with the SVVP, the organization, since 2017, the day one. I used to work in Chicago. I've been in New York. I've worked everywhere. As a priest. I've trained as a priest since age 8. So I've been priest, like Hindu priest. You might ask, what do you do priest as a priest? Like everybody said, chantings. So I've trained for 10 years in a boarding school to be a priest. And the temple, I just want to highlight why we need a temple is ritual based, because there are so many rituals that been done, especially ancestor rituals are very important. So you might be, hey, there is ancestor, is there anything other involved? The rituals are done with water. You'll be surprised. So as you can see, I don't know if you will be able to see the screen here. I just want to highlight a few things about the geography of the plot, because when we bought this property, this has a lot of trees. As you can see, this has a lot of trees. If you compare with the if you can go to Google Maps or anything, I don't know if you... As you can see, I don't even know how to operate this one. So as you can see, the geography, even if you go to the Google Maps, it says we are the only one have the lot of green patch you can see. There are so many trees. As you can see, we haven't cut a single tree. Even we planted many trees, as maybe my neighbors cannot see it, but we have planted many banana trees, and because we respect trees, because we do prayer for trees. It's surprising. We do prayer for trees, water, whatever is there on the land, we pray for everything, because everything is organic for us. Everything is God for us. We don't even cut a single tree. As you can see, there is nothing in the front of the property. It's barely a 60-acre farmland. Even if you go to backside, as you can see, there is nothing else. So the reason I want to highlight this picture is we are not troubling anyone. If we had known that we have given a trouble to my neighbor, we would definitely reached out to him and said sorry. We thought it's empty property. There is no one we could do events, but we know that it is a wrong thing. We have learned it in a hard way. Now we are going through the process. Because the other day I saw a public meeting where you are addressing a guy who has laid his gravel, and we even I don't know that we need a permit for that one. So after watching that, I learned that we need a permit literally for everything. Now I know we need a permit for everything. We don't know. Hey, I'm a priest. All our members are IT. No, not even a single contractor there could guide us. And actually there is an email. We came to know that our neighbor is a contractor. We reached out to him, said, sorry, hey, we don't know if you are having trouble, please. Because we want to respect the neighbors. As my other neighbor, Jose, we always been in good contact with him. And he always suggests when to water. I don't even know when to water the plants. So we are new to this thing. So we want to take his help. I can show you the proof if you want. Also, we have an email. I don't know. If you want, I can submit the documents and everything. We reached out to my neighbors also, other neighbors. And today morning also, we knocked every door, asking everyone, hey, if you had any trouble with us. Because we want to be as transparent as possible. We told there is a congregation happened and we now closed. And everybody is happy to say we don't have any problem. As you can see, we already submitted the supporting letters from all other neighbors on the San Jose Road, on the middle road. And they all are happy. And they don't have any problem with us. Also, I just want to highlight, maybe somebody can come back and say, hey, you're doing there is proof of some gathering done. There are 10 cars. I can highlight that because we have done so many events outside since last August. I can show you the dates, and we have all the proof that says the temple is closed. We have done many events. We had to pay a lot of money to the schools, but that's happy because all the schools are supporting our kids also. We have done so many events outside, which we have proof. I don't know if I can submit there because Alivasa was telling it's too late to submit all the documents, but I just can share it with you, saying that we have proofs to submit that all the events are done outside. Nothing has done like. I said, yes, 1 or 2 cars are there every day because I go there, I offer fruits to my God because I cannot leave once the ideal is there, we have to offer the food. There is nothing else happening. And this is all I want to highlight this. And thanks for considering, and thanks for giving me opportunity. Sorry for my English. I'm not that fluent in English because I have never been to school. It's all came from English movies I've learned. That's it. And thanks for Alisa also, she was very helpful, and everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's try to keep the comments to something else that we haven't heard. So you can come up and speak.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Praveen Praturi. I have been a resident of Mountain House for 9 years now. So from ancient times, for humanity, in order to attain salvation or to obtain any communal peace, we used to conduct yagnas and homas. Now, these yagnas and homas are basically conducted or orchestrated by priests using sacred texts, Vedas, ancient and religious literatures. Now, in the current generation or in the modern world, there are very few priests who are adept at reciting any of these Vedas, literatures, and so forth. We are very blessed. We have such a teacher in our community. So being part of the community where we are guided by the teacher, it is really a blessing for our community. Not just for me, for my kids, for the welfare. The more and more we practice and we do in this participation, it is good for the global good, greater good for every one of us. So thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My name is Udaya. Most of the neighbors and the people have covered a lot of topics. I just wanted to talk about prayer. Prayer for me is peace where people can perform in a place. And prayer, the R is rituals. Mainly we use the prayer hall for rituals. And it is a place, very auspicious place, where we really enjoy our rituals. And also sometimes, a ritual for a parent who passed away, it could be a sad moment for everyone, but we perform that also very religiously on a yearly basis. And that is where we use this prayer hall. And it is another yogic place where we perform yoga and other rituals and other elements of our life, day-to-day life. And that is one more thing. And energetic. This place brings the positive energy to everyone, to the people who come there, and to the universe who are around, in and around the city, the town, and wherever. Back in India, at least every street will have a prayer hall. Every street. So whereas after coming here, the land is so big, and I moved from Sandaman. I lived in Sandaman for 12 years, and in 2018 I moved to Mountain House. In and around Sandaman also, I used to go at least 2 to 3 prayer halls every week, and every weekend we do volunteering in the prayer hall. And a prayer hall is a place for the family. That's another place, The home is the first place, but the prayer hall is the second place where we really enjoy our day-to-day life. And another thing is round the year. The R at the end is year long we welcome our year with a prayer. We end our year with a prayer. And also every day we start with a prayer to sun. Every day we end with a prayer to moon. And prayer at the tree, we have prayer for tree, cow, you name it in the universe. We pray to them year long. Every day is designated for one or the other god or goddess. And the respect comes from the childhood, like the day one when a kid born, we have a prayer. And when a person dies, we have a prayer. So everything goes around this prayer hall for us. For us, prayer hall is so important in our life, like a hall in room. The prayer hall is for the community and the people, where we come together, we celebrate together, we make sure the community is blessed with the positive prayers, and also it helps the community to bring positive energy, which is much needed as of today in the world. And we want to bring the peace, harmony to the people. So I request, please grant us to celebrate this, and I request all of you, plead all of you to please grant to have a prayer hall in our area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste. Good evening, everyone. So myself, Gaurav Sisodia, I live in Tracy more than 3 years now. And having a temple within our neighborhood can have several cultural, social, and spiritual significance, regardless of religion it belongs to. And having temple within the neighborhood can provide a sense of community, belonging, enjoyment, and to the individual and the community. So we must consider this request, and we must have a prayer hall and temple request for every in the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Myself, Shalab. I moved to Mountain House 4 years back from Bay Area. And as we spoke about that, prayer is an integral part of our life. It's a ritual belief. We start our day with the prayer, we end our day with the prayer. And I am a follower of Lord Hanumana, which is known for removing the obstacles. I used to go to the temple or to the prayer hall twice a week or on Tuesdays and Saturdays to take the blessings and to meditate and do the chantings. I personally request for this prayer hall to be, application for the prayer hall to be accepted, because it's a requirement in a community to be, have a prayer hall nearby. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gautam Khandelwal, and I moved to Tracy 2 years back in 2021. Before that, I had been living in Bay Area for 10 years. And I'm a practicing Hindu, and since childhood, my parents had taught me to go to the prayer hall or temple once in a week at least and go and connect with the divinity. And really, I met so many knowledgeable people in the temple, learned so much from our elders. That's the place where you connect with other elders in the community. Right? In the home, you learn from parents. That's correct. But then when you go to the prayer hall, you meet other elders. They teach you so many things. If there is a bad day, you go there. There is a bad week, you go there and then connect and then get their guidance, blessings, along with the blessings from the God. Now, when I moved to Tracy, the beautiful city of Tracy, so many good parks. I live in Tracy Hills. It's such a nice environment. I love it. But then, in order to go to offer my prayer, I have to go to Dublin. And then when I moved, I was going to Dublin. I was coming there 2 hours in the traffic, notorious Altamont traffic. I was thinking, oh God, give me one temple here. And I came to know that there is a temple. And, unfortunately I went there once and then I came. Then next time I went there and it was locked. Nobody was there. I felt so unhappy. We also pray to Mother Earth, and I don't feel good when I drive to Dublin and then in traffic 2 hours I'm driving and I'm polluting this Mother Earth. You, as a leaders, you can help us reduce this also, my guilt, and then give us a prayer hall at temple in my neighborhood so that I can go there regularly, practice my practices, spiritual practices. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Check online. Got one more in person.
Did you say online?
Just one more minute, please. Then we'll get to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience.
Hello,
Yeah.
I'm Krishna Wakati. As a person, we strongly associate with two kind of places. One is the birthplace, another one is the karma bhumi, which is, in a sense, you could say it as the place we work and where we live. The first one, I don't have a choice, and the second one, life pushes to different things, and I'm landed here, and I love this place. I've been here from past 5 years. Only thing what I'm missing here is prayer hall. I remember in my birthplace, my dad, when I was growing up, my dad used to take me to the prayer hall at least once in a week, and I would love to have that here, and I could do the same thing with my kid. And coming to the positive side of it is going into a depth of kind of a science kind of thing. When a murti is installed, there's a kind of a prayers done which would bring God's energy into the, and as a practice, generally people used to do a clockwise circling around the murti, which is, in a sense, the belief is that it gives a lot of positive energy and removes the negative energies. And I would really like to give that experience to my kid, and definitely help the surrounding places with a good positive energy. So I would ask you to help us in having a good place for a prayer. Thank you.
Thank you. And now online, you may speak.
I would like to go for Sahaji from my work. Myself, Chanakya Bairi. I'm from Bay Area. So I recently moved to Mountain House a few months ago. So when I was in Milpitas in Bay Area, there were like 4 or 5 different prayer houses around me within a mile, where I used to go always whenever I was down. And recently, I've gone through my divorce process, and it is the most emotionally and mentally challenging experience one could have in their lives. And during such a difficult time, a prayer, any like temple or a prayer hall that can offer solace and comfort feeling. And when I moved to Mountain House, I heard that there was a temple, and then I also heard at the same time the temple was closed because of some issues. So I would like to request personally to have a temple in Mountain House, because that definitely helps us build what we are capable of and to learn more about ourselves. Because in the past few months I was emotionally very down, and I put all my efforts to come back to move on with my life, but I cannot deny the fact that the spiritual lessons and the prayer hall and the temples and the prayers that we do, that really helped me to bring what exactly I am and what I'm capable of today. So I definitely, I would like to request you to consider our requests, and I hope that we'll have a prayer hall in Mountain House. Thank you for giving this.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is Krishna Viswanathan. I'm participating on this event from Cupertino. And I just want to relate an experience from my activity as a volunteer 15 years ago in establishing a prayer hall in Milpitas. And what I learned from that experience is that it not only helps the community in their spiritual journey, but also bonds them together, and then gives a significant platform for them to engage with the community at large as a group. So my really sincere request for you is approving this prayer hall for Telugu community or other practicing Hindus in Tracy area would not only help their spiritual journey, but bonds them, and then also give them a very, very strong platform for them to engage with the Tracy and surrounding areas in a very, very meaningful way. I sincerely appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that it for online?
Hello. I can go now?
Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Meena Sai Prasad, and I moved to Tracy almost 18 years back. I've been living here for a while now. And I was looking for a temple anytime when I'm stressed, or, our Hindu religion, we always lean on God. We go with the family, the kids, everybody. And we never had one here, so I always travel to Dublin, but off late it had been so hectic, traffic and stuff, they couldn't do anymore. 2 years back, my daughter had blood clots in her lungs. Went through hell. I had no place to worship. And there were times my friend Jas talked one time about a Gurudwar where Sikhs go to worship. I've gone there. I stay there a couple of hours, just sit there, crying. I've gone to churches, just sit in the churches, just to vent. We need a temple, because that is one thing that instead of kids vandalizing on the streets, they come with us. They go everywhere we go. That's how Indian family raises their kids. So they would be with us, a part of a big community, helping and learning the right things. So I really feel like you guys have to approve this, because we have a lot of Indian community here. We don't even have one Hindu temple.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I believe there's two more online. 4.
Is there anyone online who additionally wishes to speak in support of this project? Like that's it.
Okay, now we're going to hear from the opposition. Anyone here that would like to speak against the project?
Good evening, Good evening, members of the board. My name is Aaron Smud, and I own the property directly to the south of this project, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you this evening. I recently actually worked with this board in the community development project. Actually, Frank and John Thunderbird were on that project, and it was similar to this. We were actually converting an Ag 40 property to commercial use. It was only located a few miles from the subject property. I spent over 3 years working with your staff, with Mountain House, with LAFCO, with a number of agencies to make sure we were following all the steps, to make sure that we were getting the necessary approvals for use permits and for building permits before we started any construction and before any commercial use was happening on the property. You know, I take pride that we did our research, we followed the steps, and we did it the right way. You know, this particular applicant, as was discussed, purchased the property, immediately made a number of unpermitted improvements. Once the improvements were done, they started using, under full operation as a worship facility, with no submittals, no applications, probably not a lot of research. It's definitely possible that the applicant was unaware of the process, and I understand that. But code violation was brought in. They did an assessment and essentially validated that, yes, unpermitted improvements were done, validated that they were operating, and told them that they needed to cease all operations until approval was gained. Or the owner has not done that. I apologize, ma'am. We do live directly to the south, so we're there every day, and they have continued to regularly operate, even though they've been given direct orders not to. So, and not only to that, they're asking for a use of 49 people. And if you look at the letter that we provided, on multiple occasions, we've documented probably closer to 70 people that are there. So, and this is with no approval at all. So, it's definitely hard to say what use will be had once they get some level of approval. Given these facts, what precedents would the county be sending, or what message would they be sending to proceed with the approval of an application? What message would it send to me, people that try and do things the right way, that do their research, when they've intentionally not followed the rules? It's been more of the do as I want, ask for approval later if I get caught. I can understand when people don't know, but when they've been informed and they knowingly and intentionally disregard county instruction to cease their operations, not only to make improvements, just to cease operations, I really hope that that's a consideration. Because if they're not following the rules now, are they going to follow the rules going forward? In the letter that I provided in the staff report, we outlined a number of specific concerns with the property, but our overarching concern is around environmental health. No public water or sewer services are available in this area. All the properties utilize domestic wells for private septic systems and leach fields. Our domestic well is located approximately 55 feet from the proposed new parking lot and approximately 75 feet from the proposed new industrial septic system. The groundwater level at our well is currently between 4 to 6 feet. So it's a very shallow groundwater table in this area. The applicant has proposed to construct new detached accessible restrooms that, combined with the existing bathrooms, will be capable of what they're saying gatherings of up to 49 people. So the addition of these new restrooms are going to necessitate the construction of a new industrial sewage disposal system, according to the environmental health conditions of approval. Does that sound like something that you would want next to your domestic well? On the nearby project that we developed, we were required to install a pump station and over a mile of off-site sewer force main to connect to Mountain House services because on-site treatment was not allowed. The public work condition of approval requires a fenced retention basin and stormwater treatment facilities. None of these improvements are even shown on the site plan. From my experience, little to no inspection will be performed by the county for the required maintenance of these facilities to ensure the proper long-term operation. They might get designed correctly, they might get installed correctly, but it doesn't mean that they'll be maintained correctly. And if they're not maintained correctly, they absolutely can affect the groundwater table. All of these factors create major concern that the proposed commercial facilities could influence the shallow groundwater table and negatively affect our domestic water supply. My wife works for a large engineering firm that focuses on water treatment and water process. I mean, she can talk my ear off about groundwater cone of influence and total coliforms and the way pathogen levels will affect the groundwater level. And honestly, I don't really understand that and really don't want to. But what I do know that in the event that this application is approved, we will immediately start sample testing our well to establish baseline properties, and we'll continue to test at the recommended frequency to ensure that consistency is maintained. In the event that the quality does change in a negative way, I'm confident that we're going to have taken the necessary steps to be in a very strong claim situation, and I just don't want that to be a position that my family and I would ever have to be put in. I'm not sure if any of you guys live in the country, get your water off a domestic well, or if you have family that do, but if you do, I'm sure you can probably relate to my fear of an overused, under-maintained commercial facility that could contaminate the groundwater that's so close to us. With those comments, I'm sure that I must be close to my 5 minutes, and I want to respect everyone's time. We've heard quite a lot. So I thank you for your service on the board, and I appreciate your consideration to my concerns. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else here that would like to speak against the project? And if not, is there anyone online that would like to speak against the project?
Hi, my name is Rosemary Smud. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay. There was an echo, it sounded like. As my husband said, we own the property directly south of the proposed improvement, and our main concern, as he said, is the environmental concerns from that our water supply comes from a domestic well. And when there's an industrial septic system with the leach field with less than 100 feet from our domestic well, there's been proven time after time again of E. coli infections, total coliforms, and other bacteria and other pathogens contaminating domestic wells. This is something that is extremely important to my entire career. This is what I've spent my career in the water and wastewater industry. And the system that they have shown on the plan for the treatment is not the industry standards for what would be required for the facility that they're proposing. We've seen at least 70 people at a time and multiple people coming and going throughout the day. So they'll have 70 or 100 people there, and then another hour or two later, there's another 70 or 100 people. And some of them stay all day long. This is a concern because if their waste is contaminating our drinking water, then we don't have another option for drinking water. There's no public water supply servicing our road. It's only a domestic well. The other main concern is the runoff from the parking lot and the driveways that they have shown on their plan. They don't show any stormwater drainage facilities or treatment or retention basins. And that's another environmental concern for us. So I thank you for your time, and I appreciate you considering what we said.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else online that would like to speak against the project?
That is all.
Okay, hearing none, we will go back to the applicant and only the applicant for rebuttal.
Coming to, I think, 2 points that really concerns, I think, environmental for the septic systems and water contamination issue. Frankly speaking, yes, we will do everything what county does, follow the rules. We are already working with a septic system designer to see whether this septic system needs any repair or anything that really requires changes or increase the size of it. If EHD gives us any direction to change the size, we will change it. That's not going to be an issue. Yeah, definitely water we will consume too. So water contamination is not going to be for us too. So we will have to fix ourselves that. Forget about my neighbor having that problem. But yes, we will work on it. And I actually put an application to the water board department, and we are working with a water specialist to do the sampling right now first, what the quality of the water is, whether it can be consumed for public. And basically that application is waiting for this process to be done. So it's not that we are not aware, we are aware of it. We will make sure the septic system is done correctly, sized correctly. And if it is an older system, I'm not sure how old is that right now. So we'll make all the arrangements that needed to support this project. Yeah, before, this has to be, all the building permit, everything has to go through. So we will go through the process in a systematic way. And, we'll take the help of, we have two boards. One is the executive board, one is the advisory board. So, they're all here. So they would comply to that. We work in IT. We know what is compliance is. We know what rules there are. So we are aware of it. We will, I think if it is inconvenient for me, why would I make others, my neighbors, have issues? So I will promise you, that from my board and from the non-profit group, yes, we will take care of those things. That's not going to be.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this time we're going to bring it back to the commission, and I got a few comments. As far as the opposition, I completely understand. One of the main concerns moving out the country always water quality. Same issue. It is zoned Ag 40, which has a lot broad of uses that can be put right next door, where you'd be running into the exact same issue, possibly worse. I mean, Ag 40 is very broad. It is very, very broad. You could have so many different things put there. I think the fact that they're coming into the prayer hall wants to come into the fold and do everything the right way is a good thing for the opposition as well, because there'll be better oversight. I'm not crazy that the applicant didn't do things right from the very start. This commission always has a problem with that over and over. It's kind of a ongoing thing that we have a pet peeve about from my experience. But I also think it seems like a wonderful community. Obviously a great need in the community. I think all religious practices are very important. The young people are obviously getting a great education, from the prayer hall to the family to the schools. And so I think it's an excellent project. And again, I do understand what the opposition is saying, but you could be in a lot worse situations. That's all I got to say.
I'm going to be short. Commissioner Grunsky said most of what I was going to ask questions about, but I would like to state and ask the applicant that they understand that even if we do approve the use permit suggested tonight, that you will still be closed, because everything must be completed. Everything must be completed before you can open again. And I see a lot of heads saying yes, they understand that. So it does sound like learned your lesson. I also heard Mr. Smud when he said, It's always so many folks think nowadays that, you know, we can just go ahead and do whatever we want to do, and then we're going to just say, oh, forgive us. But I truly believe you've learned your lesson. And I have to, you know, the old school teacher in me has to commend the 3 young folks who got up here tonight and spoke, because they actually became part of the process that we have here in not only this county, but in this great country that we live in, is that you know that you have rights, you know that you have the opportunity to come and speak, and more importantly, you're part of the process. So I appreciate that as well.
Anyone else up on the commission?
Septic, can we move it? And there's also a comment about a retention pond. Now, I live in the country, so I know there's not one shown. Is this going to be part of the permit process? How is that all going to come about?
Chair?
Please.
Chair. Yes, so just because the site plan now does not show a retention pond does not mean it is not required. So through the building permit process, it would be reviewed by both Public Works as well as the building department. So, and there is adequate size on that property to put one on. Across the board in San Joaquin County, out in the ag zone, you are required to keep your storm drainage on your property. You may not let it go onto someone else's property. Regarding the septic system, we do have representatives here from environmental health, and since there are so many concerns about wells and septic systems and potable water, I think it would probably be helpful for the commission to hear from environmental health as to how they regulate it, whether septic systems can be moved, et cetera, if you would like.
Absolutely.
So we have Stephen Shee from Environmental Health who's going to answer some of those questions.
Chair Gronsky and member of the board, my name is Stephen Shee, House Department. Environmental Health Department require a condition that's called soil suitability and loading study to evaluate the proposed septic systems for this project. So this study will give us an idea of what type of septic system fit into this project. That would be prevented, that would be discussed, contamination for the groundwater issues, and on that report we also require the applicants to obtain the sample for the existing well, so we have a baseline to see what kind of contaminant we are dealing with, so we can design a septic system. To the chair, I would like to thank you. The gentlemen, they were seems very willing to comply with whatever our regulations is, so we can. There's many things we can do. For example, we can have engineer design septic systems to mitigate then the shallow groundwater and make sure the sewage does not contaminate the groundwater issues. I would like to answer any question, commissioners, staff, at this point.
Yeah, I would just through the process, whatever you can do to protect the neighbors' concerns is like paramount, because you know they have their community. They're also part of the ag community out there, like their neighbors. So, you know, you have to, even though someone's in opposition, they're right next door and they're going to be there for a while. So anything you can do to protect them and yourselves, never just look at the dollar, just work together with environmental health and make it safe for everyone out there.
It's our primary concern to protect the groundwater.
I know, you guys do a great job. Thank you. Oh, we got one more question.
No, it's not
actually.
environmental, I'm sorry. Keep those septic tanks clean. Okay. No, it has to do with another issue mentioned by the SMUDs, 70 to 100 people at a session. Is that still going on, or what? Because it almost sounds like it once you, well, I'll let you answer the question.
So you mean to say like crowd?
First opened, it was stated that there was more than 49 people. It was anywhere between
enthusiasm, like they wanted to see the property. Initial, a lot of people that who supported, and we just sent mail. So, hey, we got a place. So a lot of people were more interested to see it. So that initial excitement actually brought a lot of crowd. Yes.
So
we are implementing.
Okay. Yeah. So during this whole process, have you spoken to Mr. and Mrs. Smud?
Yeah.
Did you speak to the neighbor?
Yeah, Aaron? Yes. Aaron Smart, yes. I sent an email. Actually, unfortunately, I met him only after like 6 or 7 months, like December of 2022. So that's the time I came to know his name and his address. I was always walking by, but I could never find somebody at the home. So it was difficult for me. So finally, we were able to find out where he was working. Then we were able to go there. And then, yes, I reached out to him. I sent a mail. He's willing to help us. He replied back to me, but I think he was busy here. Then, yes, we will work with him. I know he's a nice guy. I don't think he advised a lot of things. We would like to work with him.
It's so one of their concerns was that their son almost got hit by someone turning around in the driveway. So going forward, how are you going to make sure that everybody follows the rules when it comes to entering and exiting?
So we have right now there was no parking inside that we could really allow people to park. It was gravel, and if it rains, very difficult to go inside and park behind. So once if we have a proper parking structure, like enter and exit, 2 different paths, then I think we don't have to worry about going to the next door to park it. So definitely that's the first thing we will do is get the parking in shape so that the people can enter, exit without disturbing the neighbors or blocking their driveways. And we will also have a setback so that, the car can at least stay back so it doesn't have to block anybody.
And forgive me, you are working with someone, a consultant engineer, is helping you plan all this out?
We had an architect, yes.
An architect, okay.
Working with an architect, and he's not well. So I think he, for the building codes and all those things, yes.
And with the planning department as well, obviously still through the process of approval. So, and that's why I do think that them coming into the fold and doing things the right way should be beneficial.
This is going to be a long process. It's not going to happen next week. Okay, so just everybody in the audience is going to go, okay, great, this is good or bad or whatever, but it's going to take a while.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Chair, if I may, I would like to, gentlemen, keep standing because I have questions for you. But I would like to start with saying thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Smut because they took the time to come out and being on the phone and patiently waiting while we were listening to everyone who are here in support of it. I personally take it very seriously because if I was in Mr. Smut's shoes, I would have done the same thing. It upsets me because if somebody's following the rules and regulations and somebody else comes and we can't go like, oops, these are not the moments that can just go with oops. So I'm definitely aware and I definitely understand that there are consequences. The only good thing is that you guys have accepted that mistakes were made and you own up to it. I did speak to you. I did see the place. I just want to bring a couple things to the table or to the attention is that the parking lot will be like a thorough thing. So there'll be entry on one side and exit on one side. So that you guys maybe forgot to mention that was one of the main concerns because we don't want to have a backup. There was a photo shown by Mr. Smud that there was cars parked on the street. It's one way to go, one way to come. It's a small single lane road going in between the agriculture area. So just to make sure to keep it safe and sound and secure for everybody, there will be no parking on the street. Parking will go in the back. All those things have been discussed. And personally, I would take the opportunity and I would take the time to say that because this is my district, even though I'm not a Hindu, I understand the significance of prayers in our community, in our culture. And after saying thank you to the opponents to bringing their things to the attention of everybody, I would like to say thank you to the young girl who's standing there ready to leave, getting upset with all these long things going on. The 5th grader, I'm just want to say thank you to you, because it makes a difference, because, you know, it takes time for a young student or someone to come and explain that from their perspective. From the youngest to the oldest, doesn't matter the age. I appreciate everybody who's here to support the project. I personally would like to see you guys definitely follow each and everything that has been dictated here for the conditional use permit. And Mr. Smut, if I may tell you that I will, you can have my information from this commission or this staff. I will personally keep an eye that nothing is done that can come back to haunt us, and that Mr. Smut can say, "See, I told you so." So we don't wanna be, you know, told like. Because like the chair was saying, we've been having this experience. People do something, somebody complains, they get caught, some are innocent, some are a little smart, and then it becomes an issue like, you know, it's land use. Yes, we understand land use, but we also understand the community that has objection to it. That being said, I appreciate everybody coming here. Thank you so much. Thank you for letting me ask questions when I was there. Thank you for letting me, you know, be a little intrusive in my questioning, because I did understand. So one of the gentlemen was using a word murti. So just for the record, I would like to say it's a statue of the idol that they use for the gods or the goddesses. So there's a worship area that they go inside and worship, and it is very important to the particular group. I believe in religion, but I'm more of a spiritual person. But that being said, it is a good cause. We are here to support. We are here to understand both sides. Again, please do not let us regret whatever I hopefully, for at least my decision to support this agenda item. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we've heard from everyone. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion to adopt as it is with the conditions that have been put forward.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call?
Commissioner Midgley is absent. Commissioner Ruslar?
Yes.
Commissioner Milas?
Yes.
Commissioner Sangha?
Yes.
Commissioner Grunsky?
Yes. Motion passes 4-0.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, commissioners, giving us this opportunity. And we will, we will abide by the rules and regulations. Thank you again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to other business at this point.
Thank you, Chair. I do just want to point out, it didn't need to be part of the record for the other project. I do want to point out that we I just wanted to point out that we do have our code enforcement chief who has been here for about 6 months. He's very engaged. He comes to the Planning Commission meetings when we have an item that has been under code enforcement. So we have a little bit of a different way that we're approaching code enforcement, but we're in the new stages of it. It's only been about 6-8 months. So I just want to let you know that and the public, but I think he left, but that oh no, I know Tim is here. I met the gentleman who was opposing the project. We are becoming more and more active, holding people accountable, and it's just been it's being handled a little differently than it has in the past. So I just want the commission to know that it's not lip service. We're up here. Our chief is here. He's paying attention. So.
All good. Sounds great.
Okay, thank you. And so I have brief updates. First, I'd like to congratulate Megan Aguirre. She's our new principal planner. She was promoted just a few weeks ago. So we're very proud of her for that. We do have a few items. Our next board meeting is going to be on May 2nd. If you'll recall, the cell tower, AT&T cell tower is going on appeal on May 2nd. We also have a general plan, or excuse me, a zone reclassification and truck repair facility out in Flag City that will be going forward. And the last item is the cleanup of the development title, which was before you a few weeks ago. Will be going to the board as well. Other than that, I do not have any other updates. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's it.
Unless you'd like to hear future meetings, Corinne King can go over the schedule.
I think they're still up in the air, kind of, right?
Yeah, and we kind of went over the ones for the next meeting on the 4th.
Maybe we can get on some type
4th.
of email and say that I don't know, some type of conversation where we're going to be around, or because I know summer's coming up. A couple of us, I think we were discussing the July 6th and the first week of July, first week of June.
Yeah.
We were talking about.
Well, that was for my personal reasons because my daughter's graduating high
You didn't
school,
have to
so I
write
won't
yourself
be here.
out. You didn't have to write. I mean, we all like an extra day off. I actually think it's good. I mean, it's that's the beginning of summer break. I most likely won't be here for that.
We
as
will
well.
do our best to do
project management,
great agenda management,
Okay.
keeping that in mind.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. That's it, everyone. Thank you.